Guys, welcome to Traders Lounge, and today I want us to really handle a very critical conversation. And this one specifically applies to more or less to men than women. And the reason as to why I'm saying that is because frustration and depression is real in life. Frustration and depression is real in life. When you look at a young man's journey in the 20s, you will find your level of risk appetite and your level and capacity to make mistakes is extremely high. I have been there. I've taken crazy level of risks. Some of them with no apology, some of them to some extent I regret, some of them I have not even fully recovered from them. But the most important life lesson is when you are young, especially in your 20s, you have the room to make the mistakes, you understand? But when you get into your 30s, that room and that space reduces. Why? Because now you have a family in place, you have kids coming in, you have school fees to worry, bills are increasing, you have a wife, for example, if you're married, and even if you're not married, you have responsibilities. We come from an African society, so you have people relying on you. So at the end of the day, at your 30s, you find you have very little room to make mistakes. Here's what happens. You can make mistakes consistently. From 20s, you're allowed. From 30s, you're allowed. But when it gets to 40, especially by 45, between 45 to 50, this, we call it a make or break for most men. Why? Because at 45, between 45 and 50, you are actually between your younger years and you're getting to your graceful years. You understand? So at that particular point, one will sit down and wonder and ask themselves a question, especially if they made mistakes that have been too difficult to recover. How did I get here? Number one. Number two, how did I allow time to pass me in such a way that time has literally passed through my hands that I find myself in this particular position and I have literally nothing to show for it? Or it could even be that at your 20s, your 30s, your life was just full of parties, you're taking life thinking, you know what, we have tomorrow. And then you sit down and reflect at your 45, at your 50, you're like, how couldn't I make any investment decisions or any life-changing decisions when I was young, getting especially into my 30s? Sometimes it could be things as basic as, how could I not take that opportunity? Or how couldn't I take that risk when I was in my 20s or 30s? Now that I'm in my 40s, my capacity and my ability to take such a level of risk is dwindled, number one. Number two, I don't have the energy and the grace to even push, because remember, just as the Bible says, there is times and seasons for everything. So what does that mean? Even in context to life, there is a grace for every season. And when the season is over, it becomes too difficult to undo, to change, to polish. So this is not a way to encourage, to push you into frustration, probably in that particular position. So what should you do? Number one, if you're not in your 45s to 50 as a man, please make sure that you have a very solid, crystal clear blueprint that enables you to know what you need to do before you get to that time, and have it on a timeline, knowing that, for example, if I'm 35, then I have 10 years to go before I get to 45. Time is of essence. If you're at 40, I have 5 years to go before I get to my 45. Time is of essence. That is on one side. On the other side, what do you need to do? On the other side, if you are at that particular point, guys, remember, there is always hope to a man that believeth, because hope and the foundation of hope is anchored on faith. So you may be late, you may get there, you're 45, you're like, oops, indeed, here we are, and time has really slipped through my hands. It is not late. You can still restructure and re-engineer your life to get it to where it's supposed to be. That's a conversation for the next episode. And if you are past 50 and you're sitting down frustrated, you're like, man, oh man, oh man, how could I let life pass me just like that? You look at your peers, the guys you were together in high school, probably primary school, university, campus, college, wherever, or even at workplace. You're like, man, look at somebody's family. You think, you see them, you realize that Mr. X, his family looks composed. He has achieved most of the successful, as per the status definition of a successful man, especially material in life, and you are not there. Still, I believe we can be able to re-engineer our life as long as there is faith. There is faith anchored on the zeal, tenacity, and ability to turn around the situation. We have had successful entrepreneurs who broke even and became billionaires at their 60s. That is an exemption from normal. I'm talking about the law of average. Very, very few people who are on their past 50, their 60s, who actually get it right, break through, and create crazy, amazing, successful stories. Very few of them. But it doesn't mean that it cannot be done. It can be done. But remember, those are few among the many. So if you're working with the law of average, the 45 to between 45 to 50 years, that age bracket, treat it extremely, extremely careful. Guys, very, very careful, because it is a maker or breaker for most men in terms of either gaining the courage, hope, and faith to maneuver and push, or getting into a level of despair that could lead to depression that will be irreversible. Good luck. Have a great week. Cheers. Until the next episode, we look at what happens if you're that particular level, whether you're in that bracket of 45 to 50 and things have not, and life has passed you before, or you passed even that bracket and you look at your life and you feel your life has passed you. What can you do? Watch out the next episode. Cheers. Good luck. Subscribe, invite your friends, share. Have a great week. Cheers.